Thank you so much, Zoe. Thank you so much. Disclaimer: if we get too excited, just forgive us. We are like that whenever we talk about bats. It gets to our heads. So, um, um, who here has watched the Bat Couple, our latest documentary? Anyone? Okay. I know people run away from things that are addictive, but please try. And I completely uh, recommend it. This is just a glimpse. You have the opportunity to see the beautiful landscape where we walk. And plus, it has now won multiple awards at film festivals. It's great. But that's not the exciting part, right? The exciting part is the conversations that are happening in Nigeria, on the streets, in local radio stations and television channels. And an example is Eloho, who is a 13-year-old girl who watched one of our videos and went to the mom very confused. Bats, in her own words, are beautiful. Then why all this negativity? So she was very confused. And 10 years ago, when we started, you would not imagine beautiful and bats being in the same sentence in Nigeria. Bats are a lot of things, in Nigeria: ugly, witches, demons, and even ghosts. But none of those were cute or beautiful. So imagine how excited and the pride we feel to start seeing people having these discussions on the street and in television. It gave us a sense of pride. This kind of feedback is one single thing that keeps us going. But of course, your kind donations as well. So, so that's a good thing for us, right? For the bats and our endangered short-tailed roundleaf bat. I know for everyone who attended our talk last year, you went home sad, right? Because it was all gloom, how we lost the only known roost of this species across its range. So you're not alone. We were all very sad. This individual, as you can see, about the size and the youthful exuberance, it's a juvenile and was probably just learning to fly. This was the last photograph we took from that roost. And every single time I look at this, I was very, very sad. You can imagine. And this was also a maternal roost, right? 15 individuals, and believe it or not, the only roost across its range, just 15 individuals. Imagine how we felt when we lost it during the pandemic, when a hunter set up a camp close to the roost, made a fire, and then they were all gone. So we're devastated after the lockdown. And I remember we made a promise last year. We said we were going to scour this entire landscape, deploy technologies, manpower, and look for more roosts. It was a very ambitious promise, but nevertheless, we made it. And we did that. But did we succeed? Hell yes. Oops. We did. We found not one roost, not two, three roosts for this species. So these are now the only known roosts for this species across its range. We are very proud. And I also think this beautiful WCN family should be also very proud because you are part of this beautiful story. Aurora is the very energetic one, so I will let her come take you through the process and the excitement of finding these roots and what we are doing to make sure they never, ever get to disappear again.
Thank you. All right. If you want to stand and clap and dance and shake it all around because this is exactly what recovery looks like, okay? I can't even begin to describe to you how much this has meant to us. And what did it take? 21 people in the forest. How do you make that happen? Okay? What we really had to do was just find the roost for the species. But we weren't making progress, and I am not going to go into that photograph for now, but we had hiked 10 hours into this very remote part of the forest. It was our last hope because we'd been searching for this species for about 2 years at the time. And, you know, 2 nights after trying to trap bats, still no bats. Of course, we were devastated, and our tracking devices did not even work. And so it was obvious we had to change our strategy. And what did we do? We decided we really needed to deploy not just technology at this point, but now human technology. And that's exactly what we did. So we set up trail search parties where people would stand at each checkpoint along a trail, and basically each person goes into all 4 cardinal directions of that point, searching for caves and for bats for 10 minutes, and you come back and report to your leader. And that's exactly what we did. Every 2 minutes along a trail, you stop and search. It was really, really intense. And that's exactly how we made this happen. But, you know, how this came about was, in spite of all the difficulties, what really got us going was that we got porters from the village who came in to help. We did not go in with 21 people. I cannot afford to pay that amount of money. But what happened was they came in to help move us to a different camp, and we told them, look, we're having trouble, we can't find our bats, will you help us? And who best to search forests than the local people, yeah? And that's exactly what we did. And so we had teams of 4 people go out, 5 teams of 4 people scouring through this forest. And of course, I was the team leader, so I chose the A team. And Barry here, a young guy who started working with us about 10 years ago when we started working around this area. And he was very energetic. And I think the best thing about Barry was that he absolutely just goes the extra mile. That's exactly why we invited him to join us on this trip. And of course, on the very first check, guess what? Barry turns up with a bat in a cave. You know, I was completely blown away. I mean, you can see that big smile on his face. He was really, really proud because he was the first person. Everyone was like screaming, Barry, Barry, Barry. You know, it was absolutely wonderful in our camp that night. Of course, the next check, another tiny bat, small ball of 4 at the very end of the cave, and we still managed to confirm that this was our species. Now, as we started our journey from that one camp towards the next camp, what did we come across? Along that trail, 3 kilometers from Barry's cave, was a cave with 3 bats. And you see them moving their ears. We're trying to figure us out, like, what's going on? Who are these people? You know, we were really quiet, I assure you. But essentially, we're starting to call them the 3 Musketeers, because this is exactly what they brought to our lives, is They've come to sort of guard us against this depressive experience of losing that last known roost. Now, the thing about that cave is that it's on a trail, and we've had this experience before. The last cave that we lost was 100 meters away from the main forest trail. This one, 1 meter away, so it was obvious what the intervention had to be. And now what we're doing is to remove that old trail, sort of stop using, and then deploy a new trail that bypasses the entrance of the cave. That way, nobody goes in to disturb the bats, period. We don't want anybody there. All right. Well, that's not the only thing we're doing to protect bats in caves. We're also moving people away from hunting bats in caves, because that's what disturbs our bats for the most part. And what people are doing, or what people have requested in these areas, is Africa's largest rat. This is the king rat, and it grows up to 10 pounds. And thanks to WCM funding, we have now built a 1,000 animal capacity farm, the first in the area. No one's seen a conservation farm. I kid you not, this is an area that's had about 35 years of conservation work, but we're the first to do this in the area. So that's really impressive for the local people, and they're so behind us for this. Now, caves are not the only problem. We have seen fires across the world this year, and at Afi Mountain Wildlife Sanctuary, we have experienced the direct effect of climate change driving wildfires, increasing their intensity and increasing their frequency. And what did we do to respond to this? We set up a fire ranger team, 50 people working across this landscape to put out fires whenever they occur. And guess what? In 2023, we had 50 rangers going out, protecting landscapes, protecting both the farms and the forest, and they put out 33 fires. 33 fires that could potentially have become wildfires. I mean, you've got to really just be grateful for that, yeah? Because that's exactly, every time we think about this is exactly how we feel. Now, all of that action is happening in that tiny dot to your left. That very tiny one at the very end, okay? And I guess your question now is, because this is the species range on the screen, is what's happening to the rest of the 95% of the species range? I can tell you right now, because I know, zero action. I mean, take a look at that. That's a huge expanse of land. Tiny for these bats, but huge, where nothing's happening. And I can tell you now, a lot of these areas, similar threats. Fires, very common in Cameroon. There's a lot of mining going on, habitat loss left, right, and center. So I want to take a guess that everyone in this room is in support of a range-wide action plan for this species, yes?
Yes.
That's exactly what we've done. We have now set up a network of partners, NGO, government people, academics, to really get together, collaborate, and protect the species across its range. And would you guess it? We now have a draft in action of an action plan for the species. And this is where you come in. Because guess what? In Cameroon, there's a research program for bats, but nothing's focused on our tiny bats that's endangered. Neither is there any sort of capacity for bat protection. And so we've now taken this up, and we're now training partners across the region to deploy action, not just monitoring. There's monitoring, but then there is action that is both active and adaptive management for the species. And for all of you lovely people here, this is what we have to deal with. And we're really grateful that you would consider putting us up for more investments to support the species. And with that, I would like to thank you very much.
Okay, well, I'm gonna ask everybody to come up. Hirola, Felipe, Natalia.
Oh, okay.
Natalia's like, no, not me, no. Come on up. Okay, so what I didn't tell anyone at the beginning is that this is a dating show. These people are potential partners of WCN. They are currently trying to date us, actually. So they've been trying to impress you and me. So let's see how impressed we are. One vote for. We don't have time for questions, but please give a round of applause for our guest speakers. On the side though, without them knowing, tell me which one is not your favorite. We'll drop them like they're hot. But no, jokes aside, these organizations are amazing. We bring these organizations to you guys. We're vetting them. We call it dating. They'll at some point become part of the big networks that we have, but we want to bring them out to you guys, have them meet you, have you meet them. We appreciate the support that you're giving both our normal partners and our guest speakers. So reach out to them, speak to them. They are our people too, which means they're your people. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.